All right, good morning. So we're enjoying another beautiful morning out. We got good weather here in Northeast Ohio. And I want to do a little video on what it means to be dependent upon God. You know, you hear that a lot. Like, oh, I'm dependent on God. But what does that mean? And had a lot of time to ponder that and a lot of opportunity and experience with it. So I'll just share mine. Everybody's got their own journey, but you know, depending on God is a good thing. Obviously, we have to use the gifts He's given us and be responsible stewards and do our own part. But, you know, I've found during different times of health issues, you're more apt to be open and to be dependent upon God because you got less control over your life and what's going on. And sometimes that's a good thing, you know. There's an adage, an old adage, and I flip it around. I think it's more accurate this way. And the adage is, work as if everything depended upon God, not you, God. Pray as if everything depended upon you, not God. So, what's that mean and why do I say that? Well, it's one of those, you can plan the plan but not plan the results. And that's counterintuitive to a lot of us, right? We're goal oriented, we want to get this and that done. And that's fine, there's a purpose for that. But I think when you're talking about your life and what's next or projects, sometimes you got to leave the results up to God. And health issues, whatever they may be, right? And so when I say that, I mean, you plan as if, or you pray as if it depended upon you, right? You say, all right, God, what do I need to do to get this accomplished? What frame of mind do I have to have? And speaking of that, Lisa's dad's coming over on the gator, so I'll splice the video here because I won't go all through that, but it's an interesting topic. I don't know, ponder that. I'll be right back with you. Alright, so continuing on that thought process, and if I relate it not only to work but things that I'm going through, so how do you depend upon God, pray if it is dependent upon you, work or live as if it's dependent upon God in this health situation, or how do I do it? So when I pray as if it depends on me, what I'm asking for God is, give me some enlightenment here about what my next steps are, right? So I'm going to pray, plan the plan, right? So what do I need to get in order to best get through this? Well, I pray about it. I get ideas and things like putting together a care team. Who is it that I can rely on for help, and who is it I can't? Who's capable, who's not? I don't mean that in a bad way, but there's some folks in my life that have been incredible and stepped up, and actions speak louder than words. And I'm not saying they're obligated. They're just great people, family and friends that have stepped up. And then other people just don't have that capacity. And so I can pray about that as if it's dependent upon me. What are my ideas there? And obviously get some God's guidance. And what do I need to do? What do I need to do about bills? What do I need to do about work, disability, transportation? How do I line up my medicines? How do I make sure, obviously, I get to my appointments? Should I get a second opinion? Doing all those things are things you can do. You can pray as if it depends upon you. Like, you know, I got to think of these things. I can't just like put my head under the pillow and think they're going to happen. But how do you work or act as if everything depends upon God? Well, that's the plan, not the results. And so it's worked out wonderfully. You know, I mean, I would have had no idea if I would have just, you know, worked or acted like, all right, let me do it my way. Let me have things work out the way I want. I would have undercut myself so dramatically. You know, I've had so many people step up and do so many different things. I mean, how many of these, if you've watched my videos, how many things I've done: restaurants, ball games, art museums, casinos, you know, you name it, you know, and then, you know, the wonderful, like sitting out here today. I mean, take a look at these views out here. I mean, it's just phenomenal, right? I'm just hanging out in God's country, and, you know, I couldn't have planned all this. I wouldn't have thought of it all. So that's part where, you know, the plan, you pray, but then the action piece, leave the results up to God. Let God put in, you know. I mean, I don't know. You know, I'm having dinner with some friends tonight. But, you know, as far as tomorrow goes, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. You know, it's a Tuesday. What do you do on a Tuesday? So, I mean, this is all relatively new to me, right? I mean, I've worked my whole life, and now I'm not working anymore, other than doing some YouTube videos, all right? And that's okay. I got to leave those results up to God. You know, what's next? What's next in my life, you know? And same with, you know, the treatment plan. You know, I have no control over how this scan in a couple weeks is going to turn out. You know, it's going to dictate sort of the next phase. I mean, I have a pretty good idea because things have been getting better, so obviously the treatment's working. How long it'll work and where it goes, not up to me. You know, those results are in God's hands, and so I put them in His hands, and got to let that go. And again, I think you can have that analogy to your life, your career, or whatever. You know, work as if the results are up to God. You know, and again, that's the axiom. I flipped it around. I think others have flipped it around too. But, you know, some people say pray as if everything depends upon God. Work as if everything depends upon you. No, I don't think so. I think it's the opposite. You know, pray as if it depends upon you. So God will give you the insight to what you need. Work or live or act as if it depends upon God. Do your best. Leave the results up to Him. So anyway, that's kind of how I look at it in terms of, you know, letting God sort of be in control or dictate outcomes. So anyway, that was just my thoughts. You may think differently. If you do, feel free to leave comments. I appreciate time watching the videos and the support, and we'll see you soon. Back to the countryside here.